There's colors on the street of red, white, and blue. People shuffling their feet. People sleeping in their shoes. But there's a warning sign on the road ahead. There's a lot of people saying we'd be better off dead. Don't feel like Satan, but I am to them. So I try to forget it any way I can. Keep on rocking in the free world. 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 I see a woman in the night with a baby in her hand, under an old street light, near a garbage can. Now she puts the kid away, she's gonna get a hit. She hates her life and what she's done to it. There's one more kid that'll never go to school, never get to fall in love, never get to be cool. Keep on rocking in the free world. 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 We got 1,000 points of light for the homeless man. We got a kinder, gentler machine gun hand. We got department stores and toilet paper, got styrofoam boxes for the ozone layer, got a man other people says keep hope alive, got fuel to burn, got roads to drive. Keep on rocking in the free world. 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 We got 1,000 points of light for the homeless man. We got a kinder, gentler machine gun hand. We got department stores and toilet paper, got styrofoam boxes for the ozone layer, got a man other people say keep up alive, got fuel to burn, got roads to drive. Keep on rocking in the free world. Da-da-da-da. Keep on rocking in the free world. Da-na-na-na. Keep on rocking in the free world. Da-na-na-na. Keep on rocking in the free world. Da-na-na-na. Anyway, welcome to another horrid episode of the apocalypse. And I just love that song, don't you? Anyway, many were joking that Donny would attempt to claim the bloody popeship. I, knowingly, even though I knew this beast is the Antichrist, I still didn't think he would say, I want to be Pope. Holy fucking shit. I can't believe he said it. He bloody said it out loud. Do you hear me? Yeah, let me get back to the beginning of my stuff I need to present, because I'm just astounded, and I'm going to get to it again later, but I'm so stunned by it. I know this thing is the Antichrist by what I'm seeing him do and say every day and what he's always been. No one else can be it. I'm sorry. And many people were joking after JD killed the Pope. I'm joking. I know JD didn't kill him, but unless the demonic spirit in JD killed him, I don't know. That may have had something to do with it. That, you know, the handshake of death, because that's what the Reich represents, and you'll all learn that I'm sorry to say, the bloody hard way. It's just going to be pure death. And you're seeing it. JD visits the Pope. Pope croaks out hours later on Easter fucking Sunday. They couldn't even write that into the Omen. It's so ridiculous. Yet it happened in real life, son. Then he goes to India the next day after he kills the Pope and meets with the leader of India. The following day, an attack happens in Kashmir. Now Pakistan and India are in the brink of war a week fucking later. So again, if I were a world leader, I'd stay away from J.D. Vance. It might not go well for you. Just based on the last two. Pretty big ones, too. Yeah, so after the Pope died, I said to myself, as I watched people joke online about Donnie shitbags attempting, it's hard for me to even say, attempting to put the idea out there that he should be Pope. I'm like, no, he won't do it. I know he's going to walk into a temple later and do some shit he shouldn't do. I know that's going to happen. I know he's going to want the world to worship him. But I was like, no, he's not going to say he wants to be Pope. He motherfucking said it. Again, people, and I'll get back to it again because I'm going to mention it many times. I told you where this is all going. Worship for that thing in orange face. Via worship for him, you'll be worshiping something else. The man said he wanted to be Pope today. And a senator co-signed it, by the way. But we're going to get to that. I digress too damn much. And this is Pete Hegseth. This is what I woke up to. And you're going to be real proud of drunk-ass Pete here. This morning, I proudly ended the Women, Peace, and Security program inside the Department of Defense. Sounds great to the rubes, the anti-DEI, the anti-woman, the anti-everything except rube people. That opening statement probably sounds really great, right? WPS is yet another woke, divisive, social justice Biden initiative. I'm not even going to read anymore. You get the point. Hegseth, the leaker, who invites his grandma into signal chats about classified information and shit, is saying this program is horrible. It was DEI. All the buzz phrases and words you rubes love to hear. So you nod your head to say, good. All right, we're making progress here. No, you're not. Not at all whatsoever. Why? Why? Because of this. The Women, Peace, and Security Act was signed into law by President Trump in 2017. So, Mr. Hegseth, who, has us where ships are dropping $67 million jets off the fucking side, that's his leadership. This guy eliminated a Trump program that he signed into law, is saying it's a Biden program, and that it's this great, DEI thing that he got rid of for you people. So the Rubes can walk away thinking they're getting a job done. No, what you're getting is military equipment getting dumped in the ocean, your money. Drones getting shot down, 30 million apiece, your money. Hegseth wasting your money taking trips to Hawaii, doing push-ups with the troops for 5 minutes at a photo op. That's what you're getting out of this person. Now you're getting him, after he leaks classified info to his family, to a reporter, etc. Now you're getting him trying to claim some victory for you people. And my God, you people are easy to fool when it's something Trump signed into law. Mr. Hegseth gets community noted also on Twitter later on in this little presentation. This was the next thing I saw when I woke up. White House attacks Amazon over idea of showing tariffs cost. That's what that looks like. How dare a company be upfront with its customers and say, look, this is the tariff price for your product. What the fuck's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that unless you're Donnie Shitbags who's grifting. If you're grifting, now Mr. Bezos is pointing out the grift to you good people. Then all of a sudden the rubes realize, oh shit, we pay the tax. Not China or Jana, however you want to pronounce it. So Bezos can't be pointing that out. Temu points it out. Why isn't he demonizing Temu right now? They show the import tax. I read you the entries of people doing test runs, filling a cart with a few products, seeing what the import tax would be. I believe that's what they call it on Temu, when it should be called, the American tax or the Donnie tariff grift or something. Because that's all it is, and that's the only reason someone would allow 10 trillion of market value to vaporize to make, I don't know, 500 million in tariffs, whatever he's made. There's only one reason to do that, son. You're not stupid, is you? The only reason to do that is if you have the ability to put your own hand into that pile of money, it benefits you in some major fucking way. Well, that's how it benefits Donnie. Again, all federal money, I told you, he sees as his money. What did he say yesterday? I run the country and the world. That came out in the Atlantic in an interview. I run the country and the world now, the second time around. I had all these crooked people around me before. Now I run the country and the world. He said that out loud to people. Today he said he wants to be Pope. Again, I told you people, worship. It's coming. I know, as unbelievable as it sounds, you don't operate this way. I can't even fathom an entity like him actually being that way, expecting people to view me as a god and worship me. That's where this is going. No other man who's American president would say, I want to be Pope. No. That's not normal. And I'll get back to that about 100 more times. So, big deal. Amazon was going to let you know what tax you're going to pay on your product. Oh my God, they're evil people. They're evil maybe for other things, but for this, no, they're not evil. They're just being honest with their customers. That's all they were trying to do here. So the White House flipped the fuck out about it. Miss Levitt called something like, this is hostile political activity or something, or political hostility something. Like, the next step was labeling Bezos a fucking terrorist. That's where the right goes next after they say shit like that about you. They flipped out about this. Why? Because it's a big pointer to the grift Donnie's pulling right in your fucking face. You're the one that's going to have to pay more, not him. He's just going to pocket the fucking money. Why would he fucking care? Amazon will soon display the cost of Trump's tariffs alongside the total price of products on its site. Oh, you mean being honest with your customer? That's all they're doing. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, also known as Skeletor, slammed the move, calling it a hostile and political act by Amazon. What's next after they label you that? Well, next you're a terrorist. ICE comes and kicks down your door and, sends you to El Salvador or something, never to be seen or heard from again. And that's not even an exaggeration. So yes, Amazon dared let their customer know what's going on, and Leavitt and Donnie flipped the fuck out about it, and we'll get back to it in a second. The Chinese continue to say that the U.S. and Chinese are not engaged in any consultation or negotiation on tariffs. Can you clarify? This is a reporter asking Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, that question. Bessent says, we're not going to talk about who is talking to whom. So we've gone from Bessent saying Trump must have been talking about sub deals within the actual negotiation when the reporters pressed him a day or two ago. Now we're at the point where Bessent doesn't even want to fucking talk about it. So that tells you where we are in regard to China and trade and that whole tariff grift. We're at the point where Bessent doesn't even want to talk about it. He's given the talking points out for the past month, whatever. They're not working. He's got nothing to tell the people. So now all he can say is, I don't want to talk about it. Not good for us. Amazon came out later after Donnie flipped the fuck out and put this statement. The team that runs our ultra low cost Amazon haul store has considered listing import charges on certain products. Oh, you mean the tariff grift? That's all because of Donnie and no one else. That thing? This was never a consideration for the main Amazon site, and nothing has been implemented on any Amazon properties. In other words, this is Bezos trying to clean up on aisle 6. He was going to list the tariffs on everything. Donnie called up, flipped the fuck out. They basically almost called him a fucking terrorist in front of the whole world, Miss Leavitt, Skeletor. So Bezos backed down. He caved. Oh, okay, Donnie, I've already given you $41 million. $1 million in tribute, straight up tribute payment, and $40 million for a Melania documentary. I'm sure that's worth $40 million. You think so, right? So Bezos has given at least $41 million, and all he does here, because it's probably going to ruin his business, is put a note for his customers saying, here's the tariff on the product you're going to buy. Being honest with the customer, okay, I can live with that. The Reich flipped out, called him, probably threatened him with God knows what. They backed down with this statement I just read to you, as if they were never going to really implement that stuff. Sure, Jeff, sure. Over fear of retribution from the fascist authoritarian Trump regime, Jeff Bezos and Amazon folded like a cheap lawn chair. Yes, that's the comment on the statement from Amazon. And yes, that's exactly what took place. Here, this is pretty nice. I found this amusing. I don't know about you. The White House and the press turned annexation talk into a game that they could play that would be funny and cute. Annexation talk, the kind of talk that like Vlad Putin does, and the kind of talk that came out of Adolf Hitler's mouth, annexation of other people's countries or territories. They turned it into a game. That's how far along into the Reich we are. They make racist jokes right in the press room in front of the whole fucking world. Miss Leavitt in the press turned this annexation talk into a game. You ready? The question from the reporter: Trump trolling or Trump truthing? Greenland joining America. Leavitt, aka Skeletor: definitely Trump truthing. Question: Canada becoming the 51st state. Skeletor, Trump truthing all the way, and the Canadians would benefit greatly. So they turned it into a cute little game that they could play before us, a quick kind of, like when you're at the psychiatrist and he just says words and you're supposed to just react with the first word that comes to your mouth, or shows you a picture and react with the first word that comes to mind, excuse me. That kind of thing. They turned it into a little game for us. Annexation talk. Again, that's how far into the Reich we are. This isn't normal. Talking about annexation of other people's countries. Canada. Something as large as America. We're talking about taking over. Do you hear me, rubes? That's not normal. Taking over Greenland is not normal so Donnie can sell access, so the land can be raped and pillaged. What do you think he's doing to your land right now, son? Opening up all the national forest parks for drilling and all kinds of great things, mineral extraction, all kinds of great stuff. So we can leave our country, our country's being liquidated, basically. Look at it that way. Maybe some of you can understand it when I put it that way. By liquidated, all minerals, oil, lumber, everything liquidated. So Donnie and Leon and the boys can jet set off to wherever, as we live in, Saruman's fucking Orthanc after he chopped down the forest. You think I'm joking? I'm not. That's the plan. They want to do that to Canada too. That's why they want to own that shit. They want to do that shit to Greenland too. That's why they want to own that shit. And this is disgusting, turning annexation talk into a fucking White House game with the press. You fucking kidding me? This is just evil. I'm glad I don't have my name on it. Florida woman Heidi Sanchez, 44, living in Tampa since 2019, deported to communist Cuba, separated from her 1-year-old daughter who is still being breastfed, and U.S. citizen husband, during regularly scheduled check-in at ICE office. So, in other words, they said you have to come into the ICE office for a check-in. She was doing the right thing. She was trying to do what she's supposed to do, and they use it as an excuse to grab her, just like the court appearances are just excuses to grab people now and fuck with judges. It's disgusting that they do this to people. Anyway, her husband, Carlos Valley, says she disappeared into an unknown immigration detention facility last Tuesday, and less than 72 hours later was sent to Havana on a plane from Miami with 82 migrants where she has no home. That sounds a bit abrupt, doesn't it? This guy just lost the mother of his child, and he doesn't even know probably if she's alive or dead. She has no place to live where they deported her to. And this is what the guy, well, I guess I lost his picture. It's kind of cut off. The full picture I had in another file. The guy and the daughter, very small child. Mother is now in Cuba with no place to live. Within 72 hours that happened. I wonder if she got her due process, or did they just load the people on the plane from Miami? Because, DeSantis wouldn't fucking stop them. Why would he? Just, again, all I can say, people, if you don't know the difference between right and wrong, that's just evil what just happened to those people. And I am personally somewhat glad with myself that my name is not on that shit. Because again, this isn't stopping with Latin people, and it shouldn't even be happening to them. It's coming to everybody's doorstep. Next is U.S. citizens in prison in America. Ship them to wherever, El Salvador, whatever death camp they want to do business with. Because again, CCOT in El Salvador, you don't walk out of there. That's forever, son. Confirming reports, source familiar tells Fox that President Trump called Jeff Bezos this morning to complain about plans to display tariff impact on Amazon product prices. How dare you point out my grift, Mr. Bezos? And I'm sure the phone call was in a lot more harsh language. All Bezos did is try and be honest with his customers. But the problem is, the rubes might notice they're being grifted like a motherfucker. If it's all over Amazon, one of the biggest websites that America goes to order shit, mostly from China. Donnie can't have you rubes waking up and realizing your country's being dismantled and looted. And he's making a paltry few billion with his tariff grift as the market lost 10 trillion. You know, the market as in your 401k. Mr. Oberman commented on this. Hey, Jeff Bezos, you know what submitting to blackmail got you? What it always gets you, more blackmail. Again, this is a premise I discussed months ago when I begged the oligarchy, please don't vote for this man. Please don't put him back in fucking power. Because he's always going to be coming to rich people's doors. I said that specifically. You people with the money, look at you now. It's either coming to you for favors or telling you how to run your business. Sounds kind of commie to me. Sounds like communist Russia or something. I don't know, Rubes. How does it sound to you? What happened to all that freedom stuff? Except when you piss off the Reich by pointing out the grift. Then you're getting a phone call telling you how to run your fucking business, just like Vlad would do. So I begged the oligarchy. I pointed out that you people have the money. So you're the targets for Donnie and the thuggery. Like Vlad does in his country. He stole 100 million from Google, right out their bank account, said, fuck off. It's my money now. Donnie gets tribute from all these people. I told you ahead of time, before the election. I warned you, rich people. These people will always be at your doors for more. Zuckerberg, Bezos, Sindar, all of the motherfuckers. Leon. They will always be at your door for more. More tribute, more favors, more telling you how to run your business. How dare you be honest with your customers and point out my grift? How fucking dare you? That's what Donnie, I'm sure, was saying. Not in those words, but you know what I mean. So word on the street is Donnie called Jeff up directly and let him know you better stop with that little plan. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. And again, Mr. Oberman points out, all you're going to get is more blackmail by caving. Once they see they got you, they're just going to keep coming back for more. And again, you rich people, Bezos specifically here in this instance, Bezos has given 41 million already. Now he's got Donnie calling him on the phone, telling him straight up how to run his business and not to fuck with him. That's going to keep happening. More extortion, more orders, more taking what is yours, rich people. You know, the thing you love so much. That's what I was trying to say to you before the election. I was trying to say to you, they're going to keep coming to your door and taking that thing that you love so much, your money, your power, until there's nothing left and it's just theirs. Remember, I used as an example the largest company comparable to Amazon over here in Russia a little while ago had open gunplay on the headquarters floor of the company for control of the company. Do you hear me, son? I said oligarchy in America. Do you want that? You think you're tough enough? Do you have enough money to keep giving? Do you enjoy giving up your power because you're going to lose more of it as time goes by? It's going to turn more and more into that place where someone can just go in your bank account, take 100 million, and you better not say nothing because some bad things will happen to you. just like in Russia, just like Vlad did to Google. I said they'd never stop coming to your door, but you didn't hear it, unfortunately. Now, again, we're in the apocalypse, and all of you rich people, like Bezos, you're going to pay the bill for a lot of what happens. And you're not really going to have much of a choice in the matter. Once you cave once, forget about it. It's over. They always coming back to your door. Just like Mr. Oberman says here, you submitted to blackmail already. Now you're going to have to submit to it for the rest of your life as long as the Reich is in charge. Oh, fuck, here we go. This is an executive order that came out. And whenever you read these executive orders, the titles, they're always the literal opposite of what they're titled. Strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. No, it's going to be to police citizens, and we all know it. It's not this pretty title here. It never is. And here's just a little piece. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Attorney General and Secretary of Defense, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security and the heads of agencies as appropriate, shall increase the provision of excess military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to assist state and local law enforcement. Oh, the military assisting local law enforcement. Okay. What does that sound like? Within 90 days of the date of this order, Secretary of Defense, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall determine how military and national security assets, training, non-lethal capabilities, and personnel can most effectively be utilized to prevent crime. It's always for our safety, or for fentanyl, or for those bad illegals. There's always some bullshit excuse for the Reich to go a little more Reich. You notice that? How else are they going to get the military out on the streets? So yeah, it looks like we're heading for pseudo-fascism on the street level now too, with military being combined with local police. Stephen Miller to John Roberts on Fox News. It is our opinion that Fox News needs to fire its pollster. Again, what other administrations or whatever, other than a Reich like this one, tells news agencies you need to fire people? That's Donnie all day long. That's the Reich all day long, making the press the enemy. Where the only enemy I see is the one dismantling and looting our country and handing the info to the Russians. We have proof now. And Stephen Miller. These are the ones that will reap the rewards of the Reich that you think that you're going to reap, but you never will. Here's Nutlick. It's time to train people not to do the jobs of the past, but to do the great jobs of the future. This is the new model where you work in these kinds of plants for the rest of your life, and your kids work here, and your grandkids work here. We let the auto plants go overseas. What is it with Nutlick trying to glorify us doing mining work, factory work for 3 generations? Why does Nutlick think that's appealing to us? Nutlick is worse than a used car salesman. But a used car salesman is at least selling something of value and something that is desirable. Nutlick, once again, remember his Vietnam factory comment? We're going to have the Vietnam-style factories here, and we'll be screwing in the little screws for the iPhones. Why does Nutlick and people like Nutlick think that's a desirable outcome for us? Why doesn't Nutlick have his grandchildren or children work in those factories? Why is it not like a factory worker, a miner? No, Nutlick would rather be a guy that sits back and manipulates the market and makes money by sitting down and not doing anything. As you and your children, the Rube, that's you, goes and works in the factory for 3 generations. That's Nutlick's idea of utopia. See, here's what we're getting. This is why I'm talking about it. This is why I'm spending a minute on it. We're getting a view into Nutlick's psyche. Oligarch utopia, guys like Nutlick think that sounds good to us peasants down here, working in a factory 3 generations. As guys like him sit back and reap the rewards. And we just get, ruined backs and bad lungs and all that fun stuff. So at least with a used car salesman, that person's selling something of value. Nutlick isn't. He's selling something that has no value and is not very desirable. That doesn't sound like a very good future for America, does it, Rubes? Factory work for, the next 3 generations of your family? It doesn't sound good to me, but Nutlick and Trump and Leon and people like them, that's the utopia they want. Vietnam, Cambodian style factories in America. They pull from whatever labor pool from South America to Greenland, whatever's the cheapest. That's the point of no borders, which Donnie said out loud, we need open borders. Let it slip. The cardinal sin, open borders. That's what Leon and Donnie and the Reich want. So they can pull a labor force from like Guatemala for 50 cents an hour. I'm not joking. This no borders thing has been an idea for a long time in their circles. Now they're going to try and implement it. That's what all the annexation talk is. That's their open borders. We own Canada, Greenland, Central America, Mexico, and its top portion of South America. Again, the map, you saw it. That's the plan. Nutlick, Donnie, Leon, others, they have a vision of Vietnamese-style factories in America. Americans are whatever cheapest labor pool they can get. Works those factories, they reap all the rewards. There's no America anymore, no democracy. It's just an oligarchy where, different cronies, whoever kisses ass the best gets the most. Whoever's the most cruel gets the most. I'm not joking. Because normal people would never make the statement that Nutlick made with a straight face as if it's something good. It's something good for Nutlick and guys like him, not for us. It's a horrible dystopian future that we see in the movies. Every sci-fi movie we watch from the future, it's this. It's Nutlick's utopia, where the peasants have nothing, and I mean nothing. And mostly everyone is a peasant. And there's a few oligarch families that reap the rewards of everything. We're almost there now. We're very close to that. But they want to take it further. Where we have the Chinese, the Vietnamese style factories that pay nothing here in this kingdom. The North American technocracy, whatever the fuck they want to call it. I know it sounds sick and unbelievable. I wish this was fiction. But it's what these psychopaths believe. Unfortunately. Here's Nutlick again. If a company were to say we're raising prices because of tariffs, is that a hostile act? Excuse me, that's the reporter. Nutlick, I think if you go out of your way to try and make it seem like your price has changed when it's nonsense, a 10% tariff is not going to change virtually any price. Bullshit. That's complete bullshit. Every single business will pass that 10% on to you, son, and everyone knows it. Picture yourself running a business. Your cost just went up 10%. What are you going to do next, greedy American? I already know the answer. You're going to raise prices 10%. That's what you're going to do. This is America, the land of greed, baby. We don't eat cost, we pass it along. And there's a point where you could eat cost, and then there's a point where you can't. 145% tariffs, yeah, you can't eat that cost. That's the end of your business. 10%'s even too much. I'm talking a small percentage, 1%, 2%. Once you start getting up around 10, no, that's cutting way into the profit margins. So again, Nutlick, like a true used car salesman, selling us bullshit, selling us nothing, trying to sell the idea that, oh, if you're a business, you better eat that 10% price increase. You wouldn't want to make the Fuhrer look bad, would you? That's where we at. Nutlick on TV saying factory work for 3 generations of your children is good, trying to sell you that. And then trying to sell business on eating a 10% price increase on goods. Doesn't sound very desirable, does it, Rubes? He's trying to con into factory work for 3 generations as he reaps the rewards. Doesn't sound very desirable, does it, businesses that are going to have this 10% cost increase? That's if you don't get hit with the Chinese tariffs, which are like 145 or whatever they are. My God. I saw a guy that ordered $2,011 worth of stuff. The tariff is $2,800. We're going back to the executive order, and I'm going to read you 5 quick points. I'm not going to read all 14 points. I just want to give you a sample. And remember, this executive order, this proclamation by Caesar, the guy who says he runs the country and the world, he said that actually. Strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. Again, that's not the reason behind it. We all know that. Even the Rubes know that. This is that thing all you Rubes have been talking about for 30 years, that takeover type thing that you thought the liberals were going to do. I know. That's what Jesus told you. I know. And by Jesus, I mean the GOP and your pastor at church. That's what I mean. Not real Jesus. Your Jesus. The one you've made in your mind through brainwashing since roughly the 40s that went to your granddaddy or daddy and right on down to you. That somehow equation where right equals Jesus in America, and it's, oh my God, it couldn't be further from the truth. So this is that thing you guys were all worried about. You guys with the, arsenal of guns and shit, the survival fucking pit built with, sewer piping and shit in your backyard. This is that takeover, son. And guess what? You were part of the movement if you got your name on it. You literally helped usher this movement in. This movement that's eradicating your future, your children's future, your country, everything. And it's going to put, military on the streets and shit like that. Let's read about it. This executive order creates the actual fascist police state. Here you see it creates militarized police departments by funneling military weapons and equipment to them. See the underlined part. The U.S. military themselves can be used in a police role. Let's continue. Let's see it again. The U.S. military will train American police departments. Police departments will get U.S. military weapons and equipment. And the U.S. military themselves will be in some kind of law enforcement role. It says all this. I'm not reading it all to you. I'm reading the commentary on it. So you get the idea. You can go read it for yourself, this executive order I presented. And the U.S. military themselves will be in some kind of law enforcement role. That last one violates the Posse Comitatus Act And it does. And this person is spot on. And I read the statutes in the new proclamation by Caesar. So I made sure that what this person's saying is accurate. And it is. It could be used this way, the way they're describing, by the wording of the statutes. Here you see that Homeland Security will operate as a federal police force throughout the U.S. to enforce Trump's orders. This is exactly what civil liberties advocates feared would happen when Homeland Security was created. Now we're going to have a Gestapo. We already do. This part directs the arrest and prosecution of state and local government officials who don't cooperate with the fascist police state. Like the judge, it's already begun. And to arrest and prosecute any officials guilty of the DEI thought crimes that are now evidently illegal. They're taking this DEI thing as if it's a crime that they can arrest you for. If the right doesn't approve of your policies. This one basically means anything they say it means. The purpose is to override and or abolish state and local court rulings they don't like. Well, they're already arresting judges they don't like to make a point. I assume there'll be more. And they're putting it into words how they're going to arrest more people at state government level or local government level. This is the world so many of you have ushered in, where a lot of you in government jobs right now at the state and local level will be deemed terrorists at some point or locked up at some point, like that judge. I'm not joking. This is coming to your doorstep. And again, I know a lot of you voted for it in government. You're going to have a rude fucking awakening. This is more about that executive order, more commentary on it. Donald Trump just issued an executive order canceling the Posse Comitatus Act, the Declaration of Independence, and the Magna Carta with the explicit goal of making America safe for white men. He wants to use the military to prevent crime. I'm just giving you some perspectives on it. It's more than about protecting white men. It's going to be a Reich where people are killed and executed, and territories will be annexed. Death camps will be built and filled. All those things were happening, and some of them already are happening. Again, we've already got a death camp funded by American taxpayer money that people never walk out of. Do you think that's only for illegal immigrants' son? It's not. Donnie already said U.S. prisoners he'd love to send there. Love to, he said. The convicted felon that you voted for. Trump's push to gut civil service protections under Schedule F would make government a loyalty test, not a meritocracy. Veterans who continue serving as public servants would be forced to swear fealty to Trump or lose their jobs. That's not democracy, that's dictatorship. If you think Doge was bad, Schedule F will be worse. An executive order will convert 50,000 government employees into de facto political appointees who serve only at the president's pleasure. I'm sure, Rubes, there's nothing nefarious going on here. And you, Rubes, I know you'll keep just parroting the talking points. You'll keep defending this till you lose every fucking right you have. It's going to be astounding to watch, but I guarantee it's going to happen because you've already shown me by putting your name on this 3 times. Donnie should have got about 20 votes this last election with what they were saying and they were going to want to do once he got the presidency. But he didn't. He got way more than that. And whether you think he cheated or not, it doesn't matter. They gave him the keys. You gave him the keys. It's going to be so bad. It already is so bad. Trump on his call with Bezos, here's when the reporters asked him out on the White House lawn, and he said of Jeff, he was terrific. He solved the problem very quickly. Yeah, Jeff solved the problem for Donnie. He solved Donnie's problem, not America's problem, which is the ports are empty, the Chinese ships are not coming. Shelves will be empty at some point unless Donnie pulls the, trigger on this grift and manipulates the market again and ends the tariffs. Things are going to cost more. They're going to be more scarce. He's fucking up trade for everybody. Businesses will fail because of this. In other words, the only problem that got solved was Bezos not pointing out Donnie's grift by being honest with his customers. No one else got anything out of this deal. America didn't get jack shit. We got empty shelves and no trucking jobs and no port workers working. That's what we got. So America's problem has not been solved, and America's problem is Donnie shitbags. But I'm so happy to find out through the mouth of Donnie shitbags that Jeff solved the problem immediately. Donnie's problem, not ours, and not Jeff's problem. Jeff's still got a huge problem because he runs a shipping business. Tariffs, I'm sure, will fuck that all up. But Jeff probably voted for it, so, So one phone call, Jeff backs down. And it's just, again, it's another, it's showing how Donnie is going to come into your business and run it for you. You people that walk around so prideful, proud of yourselves, with the $30,000 suits and shit. He's going to come right in your business. He just did it here with Amazon and tell you what to do, son. That's what's going to happen. It is happening. And here it is, look at this, people. I can't believe it. Let me light a cigarette for this one. Again, over the past days since the Pope's death, I've seen plenty of people joking on Twitter about Donnie wanting to be Pope, or Donnie being Pope, or Donnie saying he wants to be Pope, suggesting that idea. I said, no way. Even though I'm the crazy guy in the sunglasses and hood in a car, yelling on camera every night about the Antichrist and the beast and all that fucking shit, right? I'm that guy. And even, do you hear me, son? Even I didn't believe he'd say it out loud and float it. Because he wasn't joking, son. I know you're all going to say that. How many times are you going to use that excuse that Donnie was joking? He's just joking about Annex talk. He's just joking when he says he's the chosen one. He's just joking when he says he's going to leave the country. He's just joking when he says, I'd like to be Pope. That'd be my number one choice, son, right? You're going to tell me he was joking, right, son? But I know he wasn't joking because I was looking at his face when he said it. He was smiling. This is something he's been thinking about. Why? Because Donnie requires worship, son. That's where all roads lead to worshiping Donnie. The noose is getting tighter and tighter around all of us. But even I didn't believe, even though I know he's the beast. But now I fully appreciate the naked satanic lust for utter power, which is for Donnie. Being the ultimate mobster, just a grift every 3 seconds, criminality all the time. Being president of the United States, telling people how to run their business, having the world pay him tribute financially, telling other countries if they don't abide his DEI crusade, that he's going to fuck them up. Annexation talk. What am I trying to say? He wants to be king of the world. He said yesterday, I run the country and the world. I told you, all roads lead to Caesar being worshipped. That's what he wants. That's what Satan wants. He even wants, on top of it all, son, Do you hear me? He wants to be Pope after his lesser demon killed the motherfucking Pope on Easter motherfucking Sunday. Can you believe it, son? I can't even believe it. And I'm the crazy sunglasses guy in the hoodie yelling on camera about Antichrist this, Antichrist that. I can't even believe it. That Caesar of the world isn't good enough. It being in control of the world, according to the words out of his own mouth, isn't good enough. Gold Donny statues, owning Gaza, owning Canada, all that. No, he needs to be Pope too, son. Do you hear me? Can you even understand that kind of lust for power and adoration and worship? Can you even fathom it? A reporter asked him, what do you think about the next Pope? Donnie's like, the Pope? Oh, the Pope? I'd like to be Pope. That would be my number one choice. We know, because you think you're God. I'm not joking. There are humans that have a God complex that would be worshipped as gods. Donnie's one of them. Adolf Hitler was one of them. They want to own the world and be worshipped as a god. Do you hear me? There are human beings that have that desire. And when they get a position of power, millions die, son. Do you hear me? So the last guy that wanted to be worshipped as a god and control the world that I can think of, besides Vlad Putin, Adolf Hitler. And you saw what happened there, right, son? So what do you think's going to happen here? Even worse. Even worse. Do you hear me? He wants to be Pope. And no, he was not joking. I looked at his face, his demeanor. He was so happy when he said it. He's been wanting to float that idea past you people since the minute the Pope died. That's what I saw in that moment. And I want to say something quickly. A lot of people have a lot of theories about who the Antichrist is. I want to say this. The Antichrist, his reign has to be centered around a head wound that magically healed. All miracles will be false. It's a false trinity in comparison to the real trinity. That would be the dragon, who is Satan, the beast, Donnie, the Antichrist. That's the Jesus role. The false prophet, I guess you could call that the Holy Spirit or the John the Baptist role. I don't know. But it's a false trinity with false miracles based on modern technology that they didn't know about over 1,000 years ago. But we do. It was a miracle how Donnie's ear healed, wasn't it? It really was. It was miraculous. The whole reign has to be centered around a head wound that healed. Doesn't have to be real, son. Doesn't have to be a real miracle. So all you people with all these ideas of who the AC is, his reign has to be centered around that. Donnie Coyne has the image from that day. He puts pictures of that image up on the White House walls. You got to see it. The whole world saw it. Just like the story said. Only in modern times, because could the whole world see anything, son? Do you understand that? Only in modern times. With television, cell phones, cameras everywhere, satellites. Only way. When that was written over 1,000 years ago, they didn't know that. Yet it was written, son. So all of you with the theories out there, and a lot of you I like, but you're wrong. The whole reign has to be centered around a head wound that healed. What does this reign happen to be centered around? Where the whole world saw it. And the ear was better like the next day. That moment is glorified every 5 seconds. On coin even. So always in your considerations, remember that fact. It must be that for it to fit. Only one guy I can think of that centered his reign around that. And everything's just all about that moment. When I saw that moment, I was shaking. I had never seen Donnie so animated as during the assassination attempt when he yelled the fight, 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 FFF. Put the fight, fight, fight on the coin. Count on your fingers until you get to the letter F, and then remember it's on that coin 3 times. See what you come up with. This moment today, when I watched the clip of him saying, I'd like to be Pope, I felt that same thing again that I felt that day when I saw the assassination attempt. It was just as shocking to me. I keep saying to you people over the years, I want to be wrong, because if I'm right, it means death for this world. I keep waiting for Donnie to show me I'm wrong. He keeps showing me I'm right. Yesterday we get the quote, I run the country and the world now. Today we get the quote, I'd like to be Pope. That would be my number one choice. Well, we know, Donnie, you're number one choice for everything. Especially taking all the money, glory, and power when you do none of the work. Again, I had that same feeling as the day of the assassination attempt. This thing thinks he's a god and he wants you to worship him like a god. You know, like the old Egyptian pharaohs, shit like that, where they literally presented themselves to the public as if they were a god to be worshipped. That's Adolf Hitler, same mentality. That's Donnie Shitbags. That's Leon Scum. Again, the Pepe Caesar, the Pepe Frog Caesar up on the wall ain't for nothing. Leon has the same aspirations as Beast 1. That's why Leon is Beast 2. They are the same. That same desire to rule the world and take every dollar for themselves. Why would anyone want to do that? Why do you need all the money in the world? Why do you need all the power in the world? Why do you need to be worshipped as a god? That's not necessary for me to feel good about myself. Of course, I'd love to be rich. I'd love to have some power. That'd be nice. I wouldn't use it the way Leon and Donnie and the scumbags, Nutlick and all, they use it. I try and still be a good person, but money does have a tendency to corrupt us, doesn't it, when we get a lot of it? Even me. It's possible. But, it would be nice to have a lot of money, all these things. But how much further could I take it? Once I have all that money, a few $1 billion, whatever, why do I need more? Why do I want more? Why do I want more power over other people? Because that's all that's left once you get to a certain amount of riches. Why is that all that matters? Now, there's also a servitude aspect to it. You have to serve something to get that money. Very few righteous people reach that kind of status of multi-billionaire. Very few, it's rare. Most people nefarious, unfortunately. So there's also a servitude aspect to it. You're serving a certain master, and if all of a sudden you turn into a nice guy, all that's going to be taken away. And no one wants all that taken away, right? But again, my point is, why is it necessary for any human on this planet to be like Adolf or Donnie or Leon, to where they want to control the entire world and every dollar be in their bank account? What fun is that? It doesn't sound very fun to me. Even though, again, power and money, yeah, they're nice things to have. They come in real fucking handy, don't they? But I can only, I have the same desires everyone else has. It'd be nice to have a lot of money, comfortable life, easy. Everybody wants that, I think. And I don't think that's too much to ask. But most of us can't have that. But taking it past that point, I don't understand that mentality. That mentality of, ripping people off every 5 seconds, wanting to be as dishonest as possible and being proud of it, um, making everyone an enemy that has to be thrown in a gulag. That's where fascism always goes. It just, the pool of actual cult members gets smaller and smaller. Why? Because the leader of the movement kills them all over time until there's no one left but a paranoid guy with a gun in a bunker. That's where it goes. That's where this is going. And I just don't understand that Adolf Hitler mentality. I don't understand why it's necessary. And the Donnie shitbags. I have no interest in being Pope, and I'm a Christian. I know Donnie's not a Christian. He's the beast. He hates Christianity. I don't care what comes out of his mouth. He's a liar. He's an adjudicated defamer. Doesn't give a fuck about Christianity or Judaism. He's the beast. He's the Antichrist. He just needs you people until he can get to that moment when that temple's built. Then he don't need you no more. That's when it all comes to that revelation, that MAGA revelation you were looking for. That moment there. But he can't wait till that moment. He wants to be worshipped now. He wants to be Pope. He said it out loud. And again, I really want to stress this. He was not joking. He was floating an idea before the masses. And then he played it off like it was a joke afterwards. And no, we really want this. There's this nice cardinal guy in New York we're looking at. He should probably be the next Pope. Of course, being the true beast, the true Antichrist, proving it once again, and proving everything I said about him. I told you for months now, all roads lead to worshiping him. And he keeps proving it. Again, yesterday, I run the country and the world. Today, I'd like to be Pope. That would be my number one choice. And then, oh, yeah, not really. That guy in New York, yeah, we like him. Worship Antichrist. I don't want it to be that. I want him to show me I'm wrong. All he did, again, is give me that same feeling I had on Assassination Day. This is something supernatural. This man wants to be worshipped as a god. This man is the Antichrist. That's what I felt again today when I watched the smile on his face as he said he wanted to be Pope. That was a child floating an idea before you, hoping the masses would say, yeah, Donnie, we want you to be Pope and President. That's what he was looking for in response. This is the guy, Timothy M. Dolan, who Donnie and the Reich are looking at. Rupert Murdoch is also promoting this guy to be the next Pope. So I expect he'll be the next Pope. Because everyone bends over backwards for the Fuhrer and the Reich right now. Donnie's got the blessing. This is Donnie's time. Unfortunately for us, thanks to rubery and greed. So again, this is Timothy M. Dolan. I looked at his history on Wikipedia. He is a total MAGA dude. So that's why Mr. Murdoch and Donnie want him. Boy, if they could just have the popeship in their hand to go along with the Reich. Oh, very valuable for the Rubes and the Catholic Church and the Christians that don't even understand what being a Christian is. Very powerful if they get this guy. He's down with everything, even keeping Confederate statues up. This guy's down with that even. Oh, this is Hegseth again. His comment I read you earlier, but we're going to read the community note. This morning, I proudly ended the Women, Peace, and Security program inside Department of Defense. It's another woke, divisive, social justice Biden initiative. Again, Donnie, we learned. Donnie was the one that signed this into law, made it a thing. So Hegseth is just lying his ass off. And then here again in the community note on Twitter, the Women, Peace, and Security Act was passed in 2017 during the first Trump administration and had significant Trump support. So it's not a Biden program. Hegseth is just lying to you, trying to make you think he's doing something for the rubery out there. Progress that you people consider progress. When it's not progress, it's just a Trump program they ended and didn't tell you. In fact, they're calling it a Biden program. That's how far they're taking the lie. Just for you rubes. Got community noted on that. Trump's executive order is not just a demolition of the prohibition on using the military for domestic affairs established over 800 years ago. It is explicitly for the purposes of protecting misogyny and racism. They literally wrote it down. And what did they write? The purpose of the order is made crystal clear in Section 1. Trump wants a nationalized Gestapo controlled by the White House to enforce male, white domination in America. When local leaders demonize law enforcement and impose legal and political handcuffs that make aggressively enforcing the law impossible, crime thrives and innocent citizens and small business owners suffer. My administration will therefore establish best practices at the state and local level for cities to unleash high-impact local police forces. Does that sound good to you, rubes? High-impact local racist police forces for the Reich? I don't know. It kind of sounds like all that Alex Jones stuff you guys love so much. That takeover that comes to every city and town. I know you equated it to liberalism. I know, because Jesus told you to. And by Jesus, I mean the Reich and the GOP the last 50 years. I know. Rupert Murdoch told you to. I know you thought the evil liberals were going to do it. You know, the people that are getting persecuted right now, the people that are going to get locked up. No, they're the good guys. You're the bad guys. Let's continue. To protect and defend law enforcement officers wrongly accused and abused by state or local officials and surge resources to officers in need. My administration will work to ensure that law enforcement officers across America focus on ending crime, not pursuing harmful, illegal race and sex-based equity policies. Again, this will be used, that's the doorway, the DEI thing, because he knows the rubes will be like, okay, we'll allow the militarization of our cities and towns. Because it's, they're going to only go after DEI people. Right? Right. You government people that lost your jobs that voted for Donnie, the ones that thought you were special that got promotions. Did the Reich only go after liberals in government? People that weren't in the cult? No, the Reich came after you too and thought you were worthless as well. How does it feel? Because I know that's how you feel about the people you disagree with. Doesn't feel good, does it? Realizing everything you believed was nothing. Realizing what you made your whole life about an identity was nothing, but lies and evil. When the Reich axed you as if you were, I don't know, a garbage bag. That moment must have been hard for you. Now we're hearing actual writing from the Reich. What was that phrase they used? Let me find that again. Establish best practices at the state and local level. That doesn't sound Reichy at all. What would best practices be? Again, you people are all fucking hypocrites in Rube land. You've complained about DEI and liberal indoctrination in our schools Now we're going to have a police force to establish best practices in every city and town. What the fuck is this? You don't mind indoctrination by the Reich, though. And don't worry, if Donnie and Leon get their way, that's all your children will ever hear, and their children after that, is AI indoctrination by the Reich. I'm hoping it doesn't get to that level of fruition before the man comes back and stops it all, because I can see that's the only person that's going to stop this. Every word that comes out of the administration right now is, I can feel the evil dripping off of all of it. And they know it's evil as they're saying it, doing it, signing it, all of it. I can see the look and demeanor of the humans that are there, and they know what they're doing, and some of them are doing it gleefully, some of them are doing it because their whole career depends on it. God is watching, children. Sees everything you're doing and knows exactly where this is going. None of your intentions are secret to him or me. I know exactly where it's going. Why do you think I've been saying it? And you keep proving me right over and over again, and I don't want to be right. An executive order will convert 50,000 government employees into de facto political appointees who serve only at the pleasure of the president. That's from the Atlantic. Again, I'm sure there's nothing nefarious there, right, Rubes? Of course not. Of course not. Despite Trump's promised cuts, U.S. spent about $220 billion more in the first 100 days than last year. So Leon and Donnie are really saving us money. All them golf trips. We're $220 billion in the hole compared to last year this time. How do you explain that, Rubes? They fired everybody. Tariffs. Donnie said massive money's coming in. I thought this was supposed to save us money. I guess the contracts to Leon, I guess the $8 million a week for Doge and all the employees. I guess it's not saving us money. In fact, the administration spent more in the first 100 days than last year, than the last administration. No, last year, excuse me. 220 billion more. Wow, they missed the mark by a lot. And again, the honest truth of it all is they didn't save us jack shit. All you people lost your jobs for nothing. It was all a grift so people could put their hand in the budget and take it for themselves. And they even turned down Sarah Sanders in Arkansas for federal help. They turned down the governor of Kentucky for federal help. Meanwhile, they spent $220 billion more. They didn't save us anything. All these cuts, all these hands in the cookie jar, and no money's being saved. But Leon danced around on a stage with a chainsaw, right, Rubes? So he's saving us all kind of money, right? But they spent 220 more. I don't understand. I'm confused. I thought the whole point was to save money. No, it was to install a Reich of white supremacy and Satanism and executing people and sending people to death camps. That's what it's for. It's called the Apocalypse. You can read about it in several sections of the Bible, all kind of places. Prophecy is all over the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, everywhere. Jesus talks about it. Everybody talks about it. Oh, this is Kevin Hassett being interviewed. We've seen sketches of deals. So there's no deals. He's some Treasury Council person for our government. Just like, what did Besson say? We've seen, what did he call that? How did Donnie word it? Or no, how did Besson word it? We've seen something, we've seen sub deals within the negotiation. That's how Besson worded it before he decided not to talk about it at all anymore. Now we have sketches of deals, and I must ask, are these sketches in Sharpie? I assume they are. In other words, Donnie just takes the 0 for 0 deals, and he crosses it out with the Sharpie, and he writes 3 million deals. Even though there's not 3 million countries. But Donnie doesn't know that. Don't tell him. So we've got sketches of deals, we've got sub deals within the negotiation, and then we've got no comment. Now I know why the Longshoremen Union is so pissed. Here's Donnie again. I want to get your thoughts on the leftist media. Are they proving to be the enemy of the people? Anyway, that's a Gateway pundit reporter. I want to get your thoughts on the leftist media. Are they proving to be the enemy of the people? Donnie says, I guess they are. Thank you. Who are you with? That was a beautiful propaganda question. Those are the kinds of questions I'm looking for. You know, you set it up with a piece of propaganda for the Reich, like Tim Pool does. Like that DC Drano guy does. You know, every question has to be a rehearsed, propaganda-laced setup for the Reich. A springboard of lies that the Reich can then jump off of and shout more lies. We're so far gone. Our country is so fucking far gone. So Donnie was impressed by the question. That's why I said, who are you with? Usually when Donnie says, who are you with, that means he's mad. So again, a beautiful propaganda. I want to get your thoughts on the leftist media. Anyone who uses the word leftist, I stop listening to everything they say after that. All that tells me is you're utterly brainwashed and you're parroting something. You're not thinking. This is a picture from the New Yorker I found fascinating. Statue of Liberty in a prison cell with notches on the wall. You know, you write 4 and then you put a cross through. You write 4. You're counting down. You're counting down to a date. You're counting down the days. You know, I see J.B. Pritzker out there making a run for the presidency. I see AOC out there. I see so many commenters making comments that intimate or outright saying, oh, we only got, 3 more years to go and it's over and blah, blah, blah. No, he's never leaving. I'm sorry. So even this New Yorker cover with the Statue of Liberty behind bars counting down the days, that process isn't going to work this time. That's why I've been shouting on camera for 10 years. He staged a coup last time. You saw that, right? So what does that mean this time, class? Does that mean he's going to leave? No, he's not going to leave. He's selling Trump 2028 hats. That's what Donnie's doing. And talking about how they can legally run him for a 3rd term. That's what Donnie's doing now. So this isn't crazy talk. He's never fucking leaving. You're going to have to pry that grift out of his cold, dead hands. Never leaving. So this mentality, like we only have to make it to midterms. We only have to make it to the next election. No. Dead wrong from second one that you've had it. That's why, again, I'm on camera again at 1 o'clock in the morning yelling when I'm dead tired and sick. I was afraid that cult thing 10 years ago would lead here. Right where we are now, exactly the way it is. That's why I've been yelling about it for 10 fucking years. So I'm sorry to break it to you. That's why your guide is here. I'm guiding you through the apocalypse. It's too late to wait it out for 3 years. That era is gone, son. I'm sorry. That is why I'm here. That is why you are in need of a God. I want to say one more time, that mentality, and I'll give you a picture to go along with it. That mentality of just wait it out, it's not going to work this time. That's Donnie when he went to Michigan for his rally today because it's his first 100 days and no one else is celebrating it, so he had a little celebration of his own. What I don't understand is why Gretchen Whitmer, who hates Donnie and almost got kidnapped because of Donnie, was at the White House the other day trying to hide her face, showing, fealty to the Reich. What the fuck was going on there? Why she greeted him at the plane with some military people when Donnie showed up in Michigan for his, let's lie about the first 100 days and do the same material I've been doing for 10 years. And why this military attendance, there was music to go with it as if it was some glorious moment. And all I thought was, that looks kind of Reichy and Hitlery to me, man. The whole vibe of it, and real North Korea type vibe. Yeah, I don't understand I'm seeing just person after person bend the knee as if it's supernatural or something. Joe and Mika, Bill Maher, Gavin Newsom in a lot of ways. Now we've got Gretchen Whitmer. So many other people that talked abject shit are now flat up bending the knee and like begging for their life, begging for their empire. Please don't shut me down, Donnie. It's crazy to watch, and him standing in front of this military in this kind of Hitlery way with the glorious music in the background. For a rally, that's the only reason he's there. Yeah, I didn't like it. It just keeps proving what I think, where this is going. And what do you mean where this is going? What do I mean? Why am I saying that? That's a stupid thing to say. We've already got a death camp in El fucking Salvador that we pay for. So we can't say where this is going anymore. We're already fucking there. And Gretchen Whitmer greeting him with a military reception as if he's a fucking Adolf Hitler or something. Yeah, this is where I thought it was going. And it doesn't make sense unless he's what I say he is. Here's Donnie actually with the military in attendance. I guess they couldn't get rally people. I don't know. Again, people that are paid to listen, and if they don't listen, they get thrown in the fucking brig. We're going to call it the Golden Dome. We had the Iron Dome, but somehow Gretchen, Golden Dome sounds better to me. He's calling Gretchen by name in the middle of his speech. This is all planned, by the way. There's a reason this is happening. It's for your benefit. I don't know. Maybe it's not. What do you like better, Golden Dome or Iron Dome? Let's have a vote. Golden Dome. Oh no, I think we're in trouble. That's Donnie Shitbags at their military rally today with Gretchen Whitmer. Golden Dome, in my opinion, is just an excuse to give a bunch of people contracts worth, $1 trillion and 500 billion. Most of it will go in people's pockets. We don't need a missile defense system called Golden Dome. Sounds like a way to siphon money to a lot of people like Leon. And I mean a lot of money. Very strange, very Hitlery, very Reichy. This whole thing. And remember, this is the same day he said, I'd like to be the Pope. My name comes to mind first. This is insane. I never thought I'd see things like this. Big anti-Trump protest in Warren, Michigan seemed like more people than we saw in line for the Trump rally. It was definitely more people than the Trump rally. This stretched on for a while. So they had a protest in Michigan for Donnie's arrival. Good for them. Canada's conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, I don't know how to pronounce this name, uh, Poilievre, loses his own seat in election collapse. So not only did he lose the run for, presidency, whatever they are there, he lost his own seat in parliament as well. That's how much this fucker's hated right now. Why? Because of Donnie shitbags. I did that. Remember those Biden stickers at the gas pump? I bet you wish for those good old days again, don't you? Where you could slap that Biden sticker on there and still have a Dow up at 45,000 and no Chinese tariffs and no Gestapo, no death camps, no Nazi salutes. I bet you wish you could go back to that. I wish I could. But thanks to you, we're here. Where Donnie is the kiss of fucking death. Why? Because Donnie and the boys have been talking about annexing Canada, and nothing pisses people off more than some dickhead country like America talking about stealing their entire country. That makes people rather mad on the right and left in Canada. That's why this guy got fucking trounced by Carney, and Carney's a good candidate, by the way. I like the guy. He knows how to do that common man thing really well, and it's believable. Poilievre, just another Russian puppet aligned with Donnie and others. Poilievre made a last-ditch effort to tell Donnie to stay out of Canadian politics. No one was buying it. He lost like a motherfucker. And again, you can thank Donnie for that Putin's whole movement in Canada getting put down. Because that's all you would have had in Canada as your leader, so you made the right choice. You would have had another puppet for an evil mobster named Vlad Putin, aligned with Donnie, who would have did anything Donnie wanted. Good thing you chose right. It's not too late for Canada. It is too late for America. You guys have more time than we do. We will see the Reich first, the full force of it. You people have some time, but it is coming across your border, I promise you. They're not saying Canada will be the 51st state every day for nothing, son. I'm sorry to tell you. The Reich will come for Canada at some point, but you have more time than us, I assume. And Greenland as well, I assume. But again, Donnie could just surround Greenland with Navy ships tomorrow and take it. No one's going to stop him. So it's going to go global. A lot of bad things are going to come across borders. There's nothing that we can do about that. There's no way to stop it now. And again, the annexation talk every single day is for a reason. It's to normalize these ideas, Canada. It's to normalize these ideas, Greenland. Take them very seriously. Again, all you people out there where this is still a joke. It's not a joke. It's all real. They're going to do all of it. Own Gaza, get rid of the Gazans, try and take Canada, try and take Greenland, take the Panama Canal, take the Suez. They're going to do it all. I promise you. So take the threats fucking seriously, Canada, Europe, Greenland. Take them very seriously. Because although we're going down first, they're going to be coming for you next. Don't ever forget that. Every country that dares even consider for a moment to vote for a Putin-backed candidate. Look at what's going on in America. Don't let that happen to your country. I'm glad Canada postponed the inevitable for a while. Smart fucking move. It's too late for us. And again, Donnie did that. So Vlad and Vlad's candidates, you can thank Donnie for fucking your whole groove up. You probably put millions of dollars into this Russian movement in Canada that the Canadian rubes fall for. Like the American rubes fell for it here. And again, in my opinion, the estimate of MAGA people in this country, my estimate is 30% roughly. 30, 35, somewhere around there. I'm not God, I don't know for certain, but it feels like that. About 35% identify with this Reich thing that's going on. Oh, here's Lindsay co-signing this desire by Donnie to be the Pope. I couldn't believe a senator co-signed it. I thought this post was fake. I checked it out. It's real. I was excited to hear that President Trump is open to the idea of being the next pope. Yes, a U.S. senator is writing this. In the year of our Lord 2025. You hear me, son? This would truly be a dark horse candidate, dark horse indeed. But I would ask the papal conclave and the Catholic faithful to keep an open mind about this possibility. He's serious. The first Pope U.S. President combination has many upsides. Watching for white smoke, Trump MMXXVIII, whatever number that is. Can you believe I just read that to you? Can you believe that exists? Can you believe that's a thing? Can you believe that's based on the United States president saying, I'd like to be Pope. My name's the first name that comes to mind. Can you believe it, son? Again, this crazy guy in a hood and glasses has been yelling about this, especially lately, the past 6-7 months or more. And now we're at the point, son, we got Nazi salutes, death camp in El Salvador, Gestapo grabbing people off the street, deporting them to God knows where. Got annexation talk every 5 fucking seconds. Then we get Donnie saying, oh, how could I forget? The commercial with the gold Donnie statues in Trump Gaza Resort. Donnie's saying we're going to own Gaza. The Holy Land, son, I'm talking about. Do you hear me? Again, the gold Donnie statues. Bibi Netanyahu and Donnie chilling on the pool deck at Trump Gaza. You saw it in the commercial, right? Leon eating some hummus or whatever by himself because no one likes him. The money raining down on the little Palestinian children. You saw that, right? Yesterday he said he runs the country and the world. Today he said he wants to be Pope. Then a senator co-signs it and tries to present it to the world as a great idea because he knows, Lindsay knows what Donnie likes. Lindsay knows when Donnie says it, makes a statement like that, he's serious. That was a test the waters moment. He was hoping the whole press and the people would all be online in the next 5 minutes saying, make Donnie the Pope. We love Donnie. Well, Lindsay took the hint. So Lindsay ran with it. That's how I know Donnie was serious. Lindsay understood that Donnie was serious. That's why Lindsay kissed ass with this move. And is trying to present the idea to the world because he knows Donnie wants to be worshipped. I can't believe I heard a U.S. president say he wants to be Pope. And then I have a U.S. senator who co-signs it in a social media post for the entire world to see. Trying to present the idea as a wonderful thing of Donnie being the Pope. The Pope. A guy who ran money laundering out of casinos with the Russian mob for years. Talking about being Pope, son. An adjudicated rapist, defamer, fraud, convicted felon, talking about being Pope, son. U.S. Senator co-signing it. None of this is normal. It's more than abnormal. It's supernatural. My mind keeps going to the gold Donnie statues and the statement, we're going to own it, referring to Gaza. Right in the White House, he said this. We're going to own it. Freedom zone. That means Gazans gone. Building resort. Gold Donnie statues. None of this is normal. Way beyond abnormal. All the way to supernatural. That's the only way this makes sense. And again, that's why I'm here, your guide. To try and make it make sense based on the knowledge that I have that you do not. At his rally in Michigan, Trump plays a propaganda video of prisoners having their heads shaved at the Gulag in El Salvador to big cheers from the crowd and USA chants. So the crowd is watching men in a death camp get their heads shaved as if it were fucking Auschwitz or something. And they're cheering for it. The Reich openly celebrating sending people to death camps. That's where we are, son. Again, supernatural. It's just not normal. Here's Donnie again at the rally. We cannot allow a handful of communist radical left judges to obstruct the enforcement of our laws and assume the duties that belong solely to the president. Judges are trying to take away the power given to the president. No, they're not. This is how this country has always worked. So what does that tell you, class? More judges are going to get arrested. They keep talking about this movement of getting rid of the judges that stop them. I told you months ago, the right cannot have these court decisions. They are going to crack down. Here we fucking are. They already arrested a judge. That's called the right cracking down. Oh, Pakistan information minister. Pakistan has credible intelligence that India intends to launch a military strike within the next 24 to 36 hours. I really hope this is just talk. I believe Pakistan and India have nuclear missiles. They hate each other's fucking guts. They've been waiting to fight a long time. This attack and JD visit has stirred up a hornet's nest. I'm hoping this is just talk and this war doesn't happen, because it will be bad. This is Ted Lieu. He's a congressman. Secretary Hegseth's phone number was found all over the internet. Hackers could have surveilled his phone and gotten sensitive information. It's time for him to resign. Hope his makeup studio is going well, though. That's called, what Ted Lieu just did there is called getting raw on a motherfucker. That's what that's called. And yeah, Hegseth needs to stop worrying about the makeup, Mr. Alpha Male Hegseth, and worry about planes falling off the sides of ships and shit. Worry about not inviting his grandma into signal chats about imminent strike packages, imminent strike plans, not inviting reporters into signal chats, imminent strike plans revealed. Maybe Pete should just do it how it's supposed to be done, where a record is kept of the conversations, because it sounds like the desire to make sure there's no records only results in, Pete's grandma knowing about the strike before we do, and the head editor at The Atlantic knowing about the strike before we do. That's all that happens as a result of the Reich's and Pete's desire to hide everything. That's why Signal is being used. So Ted Lieu's getting raw on a motherfucker. And Hegseth's phone number is all over the internet. Hackers, I'm sure, have it, and they could have surveilled his phone at any time. Yes, it's time for him to resign, and yes, he needs to get rid of that makeup studio as well. That's called getting raw on a motherfucker, and Ted Lieu doesn't usually do that. But he did it exceptionally well this time. I commend him. Again, the Wisconsin Supreme Court judge has been suspended. Judge Hannah Dugan, days after FBI Director Kash Patel announced her arrest and alleged obstruction in an immigration case. So we have the Supreme Court of Wisconsin bending the knee to the Reich, saying, please don't lock us up, Donnie, and suspending this woman instead of supporting this woman, because guess who's next? Wisconsin Supreme Court. Maybe one of you. So again, another sad moment where I see people bending the knee to the Reich. They know this shit is bullshit, these charges against her. They know why this is happening. Yet they're pulling a Mika and Joe. They're pulling a Zuckerberg, where they say, okay, Donnie, I'll just give you 25 million. I'll say you won the lawsuit. They're doing the same thing here. They're bending the knee. It's disgusting to watch. This is a moment where everyone should come together and end this bullshit. Instead of the Supreme Court of Wisconsin being like, okay, we'll go along, Donnie. We'll suspend her. We'll make it look even worse for her. I'm sure the Supreme Court of Wisconsin would love a bunch of agents without a warrant to bust in and start grabbing people, because they didn't have a warrant. They didn't have an indictment, no grand jury, nothing. They wanted the publicity stunt. They wanted the judge to get pissed off. And any judge in this country, a bunch of agents bust in and start grabbing people. You know damn well every one of you would be furious about that, because you all think you're kings. And how dare anyone disrespect you? You're a judge. Well, the Reich's about to disrespect a lot of you. And instead of standing together, you do this. You just suspend the woman. Guess who's next? That'd be some of you on the Supreme Court of Wisconsin. So sad to watch our country just going away, man. Just going away. Rolling Stone has been publishing some bangers lately. Trump issues executive order ramping up American police state. Yeah, I read some of it to you. I presented it to you. I'm showing you these because they're all going to go away. You know that, right? I'm going to go away. This kind of stuff, this kind of writing about the Reich will go away. None of this will be allowed. I promise. So, let these burn into your brain. These headlines, these pictures, everything. Because there will be no, critique of the Reich at some point. Journalists will be locked up. Judges are being locked up. Dissidents will be locked up. Podcasters will be locked up. So that's why I show you these. Always remember them, because they're going to go away. Here's a piece of evidence that they're going to go away. USCIS. I don't even remember what that stands for, but it has to do with immigration services. Everyone should be on notice. This is their verified account. Everyone should be on notice, and that's in caps, everyone. If you're a guest in our country, act like it. Our robust social media vetting program to identify national security and public safety risks never stops. USCIS is on watch to find anything online that poses a threat to our nation and our way of life. It doesn't sound Reiki at all, right? There's more. Green cards and visas are a privilege, not a right. And they put a whole picture here. This is the government putting this shit out. Sounds very Hitlery and Reiki. Again, this is an official government account. It's like the White House account. They always keep it classy, don't they? They don't sound dystopian or Reiki at all, do they? My God, our country is so far gone when shit like this starts happening directly from the government. So gone. So over. So sad to watch. And eventually, there's a reason I'm singing these songs at the beginning of every video. All those songs are going to go away too. And I'm talking at the very end. All the works of the earth gone. So all those songs I sing are kind of a lament for those songs that are going to disappear. Because it's going to get so bad, people, that someone has to step in and end it. We won't be capable anymore. Something higher than us will have to step in and end it. That's what I mean by the songs going away. Something higher than us sees this world as nothing but an imperfect copy of what was intended, replete with entropy. Everything's in a degradative state. From the second you're born, you're dying. Second a plant grows, it's dying. It's becoming lesser than it was until it dies. That's this world you see before us. That is not what was intended. That's why God doesn't put much stock in everything that was done down here, like we do. That's why I sing those songs, because I know it's close to the end and they're going to go away. Just like the Reich's going to take, reporting away that's critical of them. This is a federal judge, restricts border control, interior of California. You just can't walk up to people with brown skin and say, give me your papers. Again, a judge wrote that in an opinion. I'm not going to read you the opinion. That's the point I want to make. That's a quote. I told Mr. Cortez, remember over a year ago, when I did that last live stream before YouTube had their latest censorship tour of my channels for the millionth time. I told Mr. Cortez, who came to my live stream, who was all in favor of the deportations, I said, that's ironic, since your name is Cortez, that you're so in favor of the deportations of Latin people. Because there's only going to be one way to identify Latin people. People that they suspect are illegal immigrants, and that's by the way you look, by profiling. So if your name is Mr. Cortez and you happen to look Latin or Mexican or whatever, and some ex-meth head ICE person wants to fuck with you, well, all they got to base it on is, oh, you look Latin, so maybe you're not a citizen. Let me ask for your papers. A judge is saying, yeah, we can't be racially profiling people and asking them for their papers, hoping that they're an illegal. We can't have a society like that. And the judge is right, we can't. Our society will not function properly like that. Where one class of people is harassed every day by random people in fucking masks. You know what else these people are doing? They're finding ex-meth heads, drug addicts, the scuzziest looking people, to do welfare checks on illegal immigrant children or immigrant children. And the reason they do the welfare check is so they can have the agents come in and grab the child. I see the type of people they're recruiting for this. I know exactly where they got them from. I can tell by the way they look. They look scuzzy as fuck. They look like ex-drug addicts. Then they have the agents in the masks, and God knows who they are. I've seen some of their pictures. They don't look too great either. What am I trying to say, people? They're not picking the best individuals to do this. Why? Because no one would want to do it. No one wants to kidnap people off the street and separate families and all that shit. It takes a special kind of person. So you're going to be picking from a certain pool, personality type, and it's not a good personality type. I can see the faces and what kind of people are doing this job. I don't like what I'm seeing. Anyway, you just can't walk up to people with brown skin and say, give me your papers. Is that the kind of society you want to live in, son? Because it never ends with just that initial group. I've been saying that for years now to the rubery out there. It always expands. The umbrella expands to cover more groups until it gets to you. What was the poem again? First they came for the trade unionists, socialists, liberals, whatever. Then they came for the Jews. Then they came for me, and there was no one to speak up. That's fascism. That's what's happening right now. So racially profiling all Latin people in the country, walking up to them, asking for their papers, is not a good idea, Mr. Cortez. because you might end up being one of those people, Mr. Cortez. That's what I tried to tell you, good people. You didn't listen. You voted for it. This interview with Terry Moran, I don't know where this guy came from. Mr. Moran is like senior national correspondent or something for ABC. So he's succeeded in the business. He's a known journalist. And when I look at his face, I've seen him before. He's not a nobody. I don't know how they let this guy in the White House and do what he did to Donnie tonight. Holy fucking shit. He eviscerated Donnie. I almost felt, by the way Mr. Moran was acting, I almost felt like I was interviewing Donnie, because Mr. Moran was laying everything out in abject bluntness. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And Donnie, I guarantee, shit his diaper. I promise you. And Donnie was furious. And Donnie's the kind of guy, remember the Hitler mentality, where he would want a guy executed for what this guy just did to him. That's the Donnie, that's the Adolf mentality. Donnie envies those kind of people. Kim Jong Putin, who throws people out of windows. Kim Jong executes whoever he feels like, whoever insults him. Donnie wishes he could do that. So these journalists got to be careful. This guy Moran's going to be on the shit list for the rest of his fucking life. And if he don't end up in a jail cell, I'll be stunned. I've never seen anyone take apart Donnie like this. You know why? Because Donnie will just talk over you. That's Donnie's trademark. He wouldn't be able to talk over me. I'm as loud as 10 Donnies. This guy reminded me of me. I never seen anyone bluntly lay out the reality that he has created and made him respond to it and didn't let him talk over him. If this was a boxing match, Donnie got knocked out in 90 seconds. It was cringe. It was hard to watch. It was a child backed into a corner with a bunch of lies. Mr. Moran is my new hero. The last guy I remembered that even remotely handled Donnie like this was Zelensky. When Zelensky did not pull punches, he said exactly what reality was. Mr. Moran did the same thing. Jeff Goldberg, I'm loving that guy. Every time the Reich lied about big Jeff Goldberg, Jeff just went on the news channel. That's a lie. That's not true. That's a lie. Blunt, concise, fuck the Reich. They're just lying. He was just being honest. Mr. Waltz acted like he had no idea why Jeff Goldberg was in his phone, his contact info, because Mr. Waltz is a media whore. And whoever sends him money gets a little bit of info. That's what Mr. Waltz didn't want people to know. And Jeff Goldberg, when Mr. Waltz said, I don't know why the info was in my phone, Jeff went on the news. It's pretty obvious why the info was on his phone, because he knows me. He's lying when he says he doesn't know me. I don't know why he's saying that. Just being honest. So I'm loving Jeff Goldberg. I love that guy. This guy Moran is my new fucking hero, because I've never seen anyone just straight bluntly state reality to Donnie, no matter what Donnie said, and not let Donnie talk over him. Donnie started looking like when he looked like how he looked when he visited Vlad, all like hunched over, defeated. It was amazing. I don't know how this guy ever got let in. And when the first time Moran revealed his hand, that it was going to go a certain way, Donnie straight up said, we gave you this opportunity, be careful what you're doing with it. I couldn't believe he said this kind of stuff out loud. It just showed how pissed he was. Let's just look at it quickly. Moran, you think Vladimir Putin wants peace? Trump, I think he does, yes. Moran, still, even while he's raining missiles? Trump, his dream was to take over the whole country. Because of me, he's not going to do that. You start hitting me with fake questions. You're being dishonest. What's a fake question, class? I don't even know what that is. How do you ask a fake question. It's either a question or it isn't. Donnie fucked up the fake news thing and uses the phrase fake question, which doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a fake question. And he's calling the reporter to his face dishonest during a sit-down interview. Wow, it's going really well, huh? Donnie was furious. Furious. A fake question. I love it. Only Donnie shitbags can come up with that phrase. You're hitting me with fake questions. You're being dishonest. In between the interview, measles update. Measles spreads across Chihuahua, Mexico. Over 750 cases, 1 death. Cuauhtémoc and the capital city lead the outbreak with 385 and 128 cases respectively. You got it up in Canada, you got it in Mexico, you got it in Texas and other states in America, you got it overseas in other places. What the fuck's up with this measles thing? The numbers are way higher than they usually are. Why? This is a person with some bullet points. Militarizes police, puts police above the law, deploys the military domestically, encourages aggressive policing of protests, targets political dissent, opponents, and those protecting marginalized people. This is the pretext for martial law and a roadmap to authoritarianism. Again, it's that proclamation, that executive order that I discussed with you tonight. Strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. That doesn't sound Reiki or dystopian or Nazi-ish at all, right? Oh my God, is that pure propaganda? Unleashing, they say. It sure sounds like the beginnings of martial law, doesn't it, Rubes? If Obama put some proclamation out like that, you guys would be wanting to shoot people, right? Of course you would. When Donnie does it, no big deal. Here's, again, Mr. Moran and Donnie in the interview. Trump, he had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed. They're talking about Abrego Garcia. Donnie's talking about that photo where they photoshopped MS-13 over the regular tattoos. Remember that? That's what Donnie's talking about here. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed. Moran, that was photoshopped. Trump, Terry, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. I picked you, but you're not being very nice. Look, listen to the threats and intimidation right in the interview, live, right in front of your fucking face. That statement should not have been said. And they were yelling back and forth at each other when Mr. Moran threw that statement out there. That was Photoshop. There was a lot more to the exchange. I watched it. But Donnie flipped out over and over, and every single point Donnie made, this man stated blunt reality in the face of it and got Donnie real mad, to where he's threatening the man. We're giving you the big break of a lifetime. I picked you, but you're not being very nice. In other words, there's going to be retribution, son. You better not keep on this course. Ugh, so cringe to watch. A little child in a bloated 80-year-old's body in orange face paint trying to intimidate this guy, Mr. Moran. And Mr. Moran will be on the shit list forever for this one. This is one of the worst disaster interviews I've ever seen Donnie do. He got crucified, and he did not see it coming. I can tell by these statements here. They're giving you the big break of a lifetime. I picked you, but you're not being very nice. You're supposed to co-sign my lies and set up good little easy propaganda questions. Would Biden ever say this to a journalist? Never. And he's got a face like Ducey's son and like people that hate him, you know? Incredible. This interview was amazing. You must watch it. Here's Donnie again. We have lawyers who don't want to do this. Trump blames his lawyers for the fact he's not complying with a Supreme Court ruling to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia. Yes, Mr. Moran brought that up as well. Why aren't you bringing Abrego back? Of course, Donnie threw Miss Bondi and the lawyers right under the fucking bus again. Here's Miss Bondi on television on Fox News. Where else would she be? This is about the 20 years in prison for Tesla vandalism. So a criminal mischief case against any other person's property is typically probation and restitution. But if it's a Tesla, it's 20 years in prison. Here's Bondi. The domestic terrorism Tesla, 9 cases in 7 jurisdictions, and we have made it crystal clear, no negotiations. These people are facing 20 years in prison. Son, when a Reich is telling you vandalism of a car or a car dealership is punishable by 20 years in prison, that's a Reich. That's not normal. That's not politics. That's a Reich with an agenda. You don't want crimes like vandalism to be punishable by 20 years because you could end up getting that charge. With Miss Bondi, she's ready to label anyone a terrorist. Anyone. We're talking about car vandalism here. 20 years? This is a Reich, son, and they're serious. They'll lock people up forever. They don't give a fuck. They already did it at CCOT. Even an innocent man's still down there. They're fighting to keep him there. Tooth and nail. These people are evil. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever give them the benefit of the doubt, not once. Don't do it. You're just being a fool, and you're doing what Satan wants you to do. That's all you're doing. Back to the interview. Trump says tourism is way up. Mr. Moran, not now. Trump, tourism is doing very well. We're doing very well. Wait until you see the real numbers come out in about 6 months from now. And this was, again, a fucked up exchange. They're yelling back and forth. But this is the basics of it. So, again, the reporter straight up, when Donnie makes a point, tourism is way up, he says, no, it isn't. What are you talking about? There's cancellations left and right. Canada hates us. They're canceling reservations left and right. That's reality. The man, Mr. Moran, my hero of the moment, put that right in Donnie's face. And Donnie lied his ass off. And it was a lot more than this. I'm just giving you the basics. This is Mr. Moran when he was younger on his Wikipedia. Looks familiar, right? We've seen him around. He's made it in the business, don't worry. Here he is, more closer to now, a little older. Love this guy. Love him. Never seen anything like it. And it's going to be one of the last journalistic stances you see about Donnie Shitbags in your lifetime. I promise you. One of the last. Because that type of stuff will not go on forever. That was a crucifixion, son. He put Donnie up on the cross. That's how bad this was. They can't have that. The Reich can't have that. They ain't about that anymore. They're about being a Reich. Total control. No one talks shit. No one disrespects ever. Everyone goes along with the lies, just like in Russia. So here's the same interview. You could call and get Abrego Garcia back. Trump, I could. Supreme Court has ordered you to facilitate his release. Trump, I'm not the one making this decision. Host, you're the president. And again, this went back and forth for a while. Mr. Moran said, what about the buck stops and all that? Like, you're just totally shut Donnie down. Just kept talking over Donnie the way he talks over other people. And that's how you got to handle it. But the difference is Mr. Moran was stating straight reality. He wasn't spinning it. He wasn't trying to be super liberal or something, or, something untoward, something nefarious. He was just stating straight reality. And Donnie could not fucking handle a guy that didn't back down and just let him steamroll him. Brilliant journalistic work this man did. I don't know how he was able to get in the White House, sit next to Donnie, and do this to him. Amazing. Amazing. Again, Terry Moran is an American journalist, currently senior national correspondent, and I guarantee a lot of people are looking up this guy's name tonight. Not just me. Senior national correspondent at ABC News based in Washington, D.C., Moran covers national politics, policy, reporting from the Trump White House, the Supreme Court, and campaign trail for all ABC News programs. So this guy's high up there. He's a big deal. He's made it in the business to the highest levels. Even if he loses his job, he'll be able to find another one. He'll be just fine. That's who was doing the interview tonight. This guy has a lot to lose, though. He's got a career in journalism. He's doing pretty well. This took balls, what he did. This is a mainstream journalist. They're not supposed to do shit like this, mainstream journalists. Again, he crucified Donnie. It was hard to watch a child being backed into a corner with nothing but a mouthful of lies. Here's more. You think Vladimir Putin wants peace? Trump, I think he does. Still, even with the raining missiles? Trump, his dream was to take over the whole country. Question, do you trust him? Donnie's answer, I don't trust you. He's saying that to the reporter, for fuck's sake. The President of the United States gets asked about our main adversary. And his final statement on it is, I don't trust you. The reporter, as if he were a child. And I mean Donnie being the child. I don't trust you. Vlad's my friend. The evil thug sex trafficker. The guy's killing Ukrainians. I don't trust you. Because you're not running with my grift. You're not lying for me. You're not co-signing the lies. You're not propagandizing. You're just stating reality. And we can't have the truth. It's all the Reich ever does. It's all Donnie ever does is invert reality, what God hates most. That's all they ever do. All inversion, all lies, all the opposite of the fucking truth, every second of it. That's why every point Donnie made, this guy was all over it with nothing but fucking reality. That's all. And Donnie lost his shit multiple times. Again, it was hard to watch, but it's worth watching. Moran, you have 100% confidence in Pete Hegseth? Trump, I don't have 100% confidence in anything. Now, again, what prefaces the context? Donnie was on a roll complimenting Hegseth. 3-4 sentences worth. And then the reporter jumps in. You have 100% confidence in him, even after the signal thing and all the bad things that he's done that has happened? Donnie's answer, I don't have 100% confidence in anything, including the guy I just complimented for a minute. I don't have 100% confidence in him. That's what Donnie just said there. It's hard working for the Reich, man. You get thrown under the bus a lot. And that's the end. But I want to go back to this one moment in the interview. Let's go back there quickly, and then I'll end this thing. Give me 1 second. This is the part that really got me. This is the part I knew. This was the first clip I watched, actually. And this is when I knew this interview was going to be horrific. Donnie was furious. And of course, Donnie in the beginning of the interview goes right to the threats. Again, Trump says he had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed. Moran says that was Photoshopped. Trump, Terry, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. I picked you. You're not being very nice. There's something else Donnie said there that's not in the quote. Because the person that watches these shows, they can't write everything down. They're making a point. When you watch the clip, in this exchange, as he's telling him, I've given you the break of a lifetime. He calls him Terry. I picked you. He then says, and I don't even know who you are. Never heard of you before. That classic Donnie move when someone pisses him off or someone shares some information that puts Donnie in a negative light. Like his entire cabinet that he fired last time in his first term. That's when he goes to the I never knew you, I don't know who you are. He did this in this exchange right here. As he says the guy's first name so he knows damn well who he is. Then he says, I've given you the break of a lifetime. How dare you say the truth in front of me and make me look stupid? Make me look like a liar. I picked you. And then he said, like in the next sentence, and never heard of you before. As if Mr. Moran is nobody. Again, what's his title? Let's go to it again. Look at it quickly. Senior National Correspondent at ABC News. Never heard of him. I think he's succeeded in journalism. I think he made it to pretty much the highest levels. A mainstream news channel, Senior National Correspondent. I think he's arrived to the point to where he can say, I'm a successful journalist at the highest levels of mainstream media. And he made all of us that have been critical of mainstream media for so many years look dumb in that interview. Because he did what the media is supposed to do. It's like Jeff Goldberg did. That's fucking rare, man. Especially these days with everyone so afraid of the right. But the point I'm trying to make, when Donnie got mad, when he realized Mr. Moran was going to start telling the truth and saying things like, yeah, those tattoos you showed the picture of, those were photoshopped, asshole. Just making him look like a fucking idiot. Again, let's look at it. Let me go back to it. Terry, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. I picked you. And then he goes, and I never heard of you. But you're not being very nice. Again, Senior National Correspondent at ABC. You never heard of him. Get the fuck out of here. Just because he pissed you off, Donnie goes, oh yeah, like who are you? I don't even know who you are. Terry? Terry? No. He says he picked the man. Why would he pick him? He knew him. He knows who he is. Guy's one of the most successful journalists in the fucking country. He's at the top level at ABC. And Donnie's like, you made me mad. I don't even know who you are now. Who the fuck are you? How did you get in here? Security. How did this guy get in? And that's after Donnie says, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. I picked you, Terry. Even though I never heard of you, I don't know who you are. I mean, how fucking ridiculous. And the nerve, the audacity of a 2-bit fucking con man who conned his way into the White House with the help of Russia, evil, money, Satan, and the rubes at the bottom and the greedy at the top. This man says he's never heard of an established, credentialed, world-famous journalist who currently has a position as a senior national correspondent, who gets a sit-down interview with the Fuhrer in 2025. And Donnie doesn't know who he is now that he's mad. This moment here, I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, holy, did he really just say this to this man? Terry Moran. Never forget that name, because this might be the last interview we ever see like this. And I don't know if anyone has the skill of Mr. Moran to handle Donnie like this, because it's a mental game. Donnie's going to try and take you in all different directions, insult you, intimidate you, make threats. You got to be able to mentally handle that and keep moving and make your points. This guy was a master at what he did right there tonight. I was so impressed and surprised. A mainstream senior correspondent in a sit-down interview with Donnie did that to him. I didn't think there were any of you left, son. I'm very impressed with this man. Does that mean I'm going to love everything else he does? Absolutely not. But this is historical, what he just did tonight. Because everybody else scared. Everyone else is a pussy. This man went in there fucking fearless. And he's a... Are you listening, son? He's a mainstream journalist. He got a lot to lose. I was stunned. I still am stunned. This man is my hero for the moment because, again, I felt like I was interviewing Donnie and just every time Donnie made a point, just spitting reality out. That's all I would do. And it would be easy because I'm not lying. I'm not trying to come up with a lie to cover my grift like Donnie is. Like Mr. Moran, he's an established journalist. He don't need to grift. He got a sit-down interview with the president by request. So he doesn't have to lie. He just stated reality, and it was easy for him. He didn't have to, fumble over his words and think of the right lie to tell to cover the fact that he's a fraud and a grifter from breath one of his existence. It was, the guy's a master. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. And I rarely see anyone that makes me feel like I'm giving the interview. Because I would have handled it the same way. It was perfect. It was amazing. It may cost that man. And it may be the last straight up stating of reality to the abject Reich and lies that Donnie represents. Because this guy going to be on the shit list forever after this. But I commend you, Mr. Moran. Everybody talks shit on mainstream journalists, Mr. Moran. You silenced all of them. You silenced all of them. That was real journalism right there. The journalist is supposed to stick to the truth, not their bias. Donnie is a bias machine. That reporter just stuck to reality and just stated reality. And he crucified Donnie. This, again, the Reich cannot have stuff like this. So there will be crackdowns on people like him, people like me, and others. There's already crackdowns on judges, crackdowns on Latin people, which is now expanded to U.S. People in prison, United States citizens, will be next. So dissenters, journalists, judges, people that stand in the Reich's way will be eliminated in some way. That's where all this is going. The Reich cannot have these judgments. They're showing you that. I told you they would show you that months ago. They're doing it now. The first judges were arrested. Now with this journalist, the Reich cannot have this getting crucified. There will be repercussions for this. And eventually, yes, journalists will be locked up. Let's go back to one more thing, and then I'm ending this puppy. Again, I want you to remember we found out the quote from the Atlantic article. Where Donnie said, I run the country and the world. You've seen the gold statues on the Holy Land that Donnie wants. Today he says to a reporter, when the reporter says, who do you think should be the next pope? Donnie's like, the Pope? Oh, the Pope? I'd like to be Pope. That would be my number one choice. Again, I've been saying for months, this guy wants worship. That's where all roads are going to lead. He proves my case right here by stating outright, and no, it wasn't a joke, that he'd like to be the Pope. That would be his number one choice, himself. Again, people, I don't want the story to be true. Actually, let me keep this on my lap because there's no light. I don't want the story to be true. And by the story, I mean the thing called Revelation. Again, it's described in other parts of the Bible as well, but let's go to the modern description. Written the latest by a guy named John. On the island of Patmos, was it? We have a guy whose reign is built around a head wound that healed, an assassination attempt that failed, that he miraculously lived through. Everything is based on that. The gold statues, the I run the world comments, the tribute by all the kings of the earth in the millions, everyone bending the knee like Joe and Mika. Bill Maher, big tough-ass Bill Maher even bent the knee. That was sad to watch. I used to have respect for Bill Maher. Then I realized it's only talk. I got tired of watching talk shows about politics because it's only talk. It's all it ever was. I noticed Bill going a little more right as he got richer and richer, of course, don't they all? Because it becomes about the fortune and the empire and not the man or what he believed when he was a young man. Bill used to be a very powerful force. Now he's just another guy who bent the knee. Gavin Newsom doing interviews with people like Bannon, that's bending the knee. That's trying to appeal to the cult, to the evil. That's the wrong road to hoe, or the wrong road to go. Can't bend the knee to it. It's going to lead to your destruction. That's the only place it leads. So it was a shame to see people like Bill, Mika, and Joe and everybody, beg the emperor to not kill them and take their empire. So we watch all that tribute and all that ass kissing, even by people that have talked abject shit, and Bill has talked abject shit. And we finally come to this moment today where he says in front of reporters that he'd like to be Pope. And he meant it. And then Lindsey Graham co-signs it. And don't forget the agenda looming in the background where Netanyahu and Donnie clear out the Gazans and build a resort, complete with gold Donnie statues on the Holy Land. My point is, again, I didn't want the story to be true. I didn't want to live during the time of the story. We've got this guy with the head wound. His whole reign is based on it, including the money he's about to make us all use. And he says things like, I'd like to be Pope, and that he runs the world. And he's got the most powerful army mankind has ever known since the history, since the beginning of history. Nothing compared to the U.S. military. Nothing like it has ever been. He commands that. Talking about annexing countries. Again, Nazi salutes. Death camp in El Salvador. Arresting judges. He wants to be Pope. On top of being president. On top of being Caesar. Where does this sound like it's going, class? Sounds like it's going where that story says it's going. You should take a read, but without years of biblical training, you won't understand really what you're reading. It'll sound like nonsensical gibberish to you. And you'll have all these wild theories. So only through years of study and contemplation, and I mean a lot of hours contemplating it, am I even able to do what I do? But you should still read it because it concerns you. Just read the end, the revelation part. I'll just say this and I'll end it. That day, the assassination attempt, that's when the final nail for me in the coffin of, okay, this is real. We're in this paradigm described in this story, written over 1,000 years ago. I was horrified when I saw it. I was shaking. Then I see him base his whole reign on it. And today, when he said he wants to be the Pope, I got that same feeling again. And again, I don't want the story to be true, people. But it seems to be coming more and more true. I keep waiting for him to do something to where I can say it's not happening, but I know it's happening. Since Assassination Day, I was certain. Was 85% certain before that. Assassination Day concreted it for me. This desire to be the Pope, the annexation talk, the Hitler salutes, the wanting to own Gaza, all of that falls in line with the story. I told you all roads lead to worship. Donnie said he'd like to be Pope, on top of President, on top of Caesar. I proclaim these things in advance for you, so you could see them come true, and hopefully come to belief before it's too late. That's why I said them. That's why I put my reputation on the line. That's why I stress them when they come true. I don't want them to come true. I want to be wrong. Yet every proclamation I made keeps fucking coming true. I did this in advance. So as they do come true, I'm just as shocked as you are. Because they didn't happen yet. And then I say, oh shit, I was right again. Oh shit, I was right again. Oh shit, not again. Oh, he actually said he wants to be... Holy shit, he said he wants to be Pope. Kind of proves that worship thing, right? That I said about him. The gold Donnie statues probably do too, don't they? Would you want gold statues of you on the Holy Land? I don't want them of me on the Holy Land. Why? Because I don't need to be worshipped as God, son. That's why. That's where this is going. Here's a picture of him actually saying it. And remember yesterday, I run the country and the world. One more time and then I'll end it. I'd like to be Pope. That would be my #1 choice, says the Antichrist. Until the next episode. Have one.